Hey, yo, 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 what is up, everybody? It is XFL Jim in the house with the garage certified man himself. That is me. Welcome to this episode of the Gymnasium Tailgate. As always, I am joined by my host, the Gulf Coast guru himself, Magic Mike. How you doing, my man?
What is up, dude? We are on our last conference. We are going to finish going through and at least discussing all 130 teams, every fucking conference. We deserve a podcast award. I don't know what you call it, a potty. We deserve one. We should get it. But hey, people still tune anyway, and that's enough reward for me. So I'm cool.
All the reward we need is these people getting in the garage, getting in the gymnasium, liking us, subscribing, following wherever you can. Love the support. It's the SEC time, my man. It's the big bad of college football. I love to hate it. I have to admit it's probably the best conference, but that, in my opinion, is only because Alabama's in this conference. If it wasn't for Alabama, they'd be behind both. They'd be maybe around Big 12 level, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I mean, when you take half of the conference, the SEC East, if you look right there, it's the worst division in FBS Power 5 football. It absolutely is on my chalkboard, yes. But the other half is so fucking strong. But I mean, it's you take a year like last year with COVID, and these teams had to play an all SEC schedule. And yeah, Bama still did great and won the national championship. There's no doubt they're the best. But look at like LSU. Look at what happened there. 5-5 when you didn't get your whole scheduling advantage. I thought it was a pretty interesting year to see what a lot of those teams were about.
Yeah, I was very surprised. LSU probably surprised me more than anything. I guess they were replacing a lot, and maybe Eddie O is not quite at the level where he can replace like big coordinators and big players leaving like you can at Alabama, and I would probably venture to say Ohio State and Clemson at this point.
Well, what I think I've been noticing the most over the COVID duration here lately is, with the basketball, with the NBA, when you had the bubble playoff, who won that? LeBron James. And then NFL, who won that? You had the COVID championship of the Buccaneers. It was all like transcendent talents and leadership winning these COVID championships. And I think that's just what it is LSU more than any other like major top tier program with Eddie O is just such a lack of discipline on that team. And you need discipline to thrive in the COVID games and the COVID seasons. It's just you need it, and I think that's what you're really seeing.
I could definitely see that being a factor. Like, I think COVID really just did it. It really, I want to say magnified really good coaches, but I think it just really magnified rosters who were just super consistent. And
Yeah,
Alabama is the definition of consistency, if nothing else.
exactly. I mean, consistency, leadership, discipline, all of that. So, you didn't have Buccaneers missing weeks, missing weeks due to COVID violations and shit like that. LeBron James wasn't out partying at strip clubs with Lou Williams, Lemon Pepper Lou. It's just that's the kind of thing I think really made the difference. So I think it took a lot of focus. We'll put it that way.
I think so. And right now we are going to focus on the SEC and focus on these win totals. Let's just jump right into it with Vanderbilt with a win total set at 3 wins. I think Vanderbilt so when I think smart people schools, I'm going to try and pick one in each conference. I go like Kansas. Fuck it. I don't know. The Big 12 doesn't really have one. Maybe Texas. Texas is a good school, like school wise. But I think like Duke, Vanderbilt, Northwestern, and then I'll say like Stanford and Cal are kind of neck and neck.
Yep, Stanford, Cal. Yep, exactly. And Vanderbilt's kind of, I mean, in recent history, been among the bottom of that list. So
They're
whatever
bad.
they're, I thought Derek Mason was a good coach for a little bit, and then I guess it's just being in the SEC and being one of the academic schools. It was just too much.
Yeah, I think it's the combination of like people in the SEC are insane. The fans demand so much, and Vanderbilt being in a position they probably don't have the money that these other schools have. They don't have the alumni base. I mean, they have a similar thing with like Georgia Tech in my mind that you could sell the city of Nashville pretty easily.
You would think so. You would think they would, especially when you're watching, a team like Memphis bring in all kinds of talent, and even Tennessee's been recruiting well. So they haven't been doing well, but they've been recruiting well. So You would think, and the basketball program typically recruits pretty well and has some talent out there. So I don't know. Maybe it's just being the sacrificial lamb of the SEC year in, year out. It's just who wants to be a part of it, I guess.
It very well could be. They start the season off with Eastern Tennessee State at home.
Yes, and that's not typically a very good FCS. So Vandy can go ahead and snag a win there.
A nice little win there. Then they have to travel all the way to Colorado State. If you're Vanderbilt, why are you scheduling these games? Why are you scheduling like fair? Like Colorado State is generally a decent G5 team, and you're scheduling them. Not only are you scheduling them as Vanderbilt, but you're scheduling them and playing there. What the fuck?
I don't know if our buddy Chase is watching yet or if he's tuning in, but I'm sure he would remember a few years back when Arkansas traveled to Colorado State and got their shit absolutely pushed in. I don't know why after watching that you would want to even venture out that far west at all. So yeah, not a good plan for Vanderbilt here. I got a loss, man.
I got a loss there too. That's tough. Stanford at home. That's a loss.
I actually do have them getting that win, man.
I could see it.
It's a bad spot for Stanford. It's their third straight week on the road. Clark Lee, this would be a big win for his first Power 5 win. I don't think it's going to translate to much more throughout the year, but that's a big game for him. If he gets his boys up, Stanford could be a little bit down for that game.
I'm not going to give it to him. I'm more confident with Stanford, and I'll trust Shaw for now.
Fair enough.
After that, they get Georgia at home. Oof.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Easy loss. Then UConn. See, these are the games you should be scheduling.
yes. Easy win with UConn.
Look at Alabama. Schedule UConns, schedule UMasses, schedule New Mexico States. Get some Bowling Green in there. You want some of this MAC action. You want some of the bottom tier of the MAC. That's what you want.
I think the ACC has the complete embargo on scheduling UMass apparently because they have everybody scheduled UMass, but the SEC I think has completely bought New Mexico State. So yeah, get them on the schedule, man. They're apparently contractually obligated.
It fucking seems so. After that UConn win, they get a back-to-back road slate of at Florida and at South Carolina. I really would have liked to see South Carolina be the first in that leg.
Exactly. That really sucks for Vanderbilt because South Carolina is another bottom feeder. They could have potentially, at least it's a 50-50 game even on the road, but second leg of that back-to-back, that's a loss.
Just don't see it. I give them losses for both those. Mississippi State and Missouri both at home before the bye week.
Yeah, both losses.
That could be a weird, if Mike Leach has a similar year to last year where the quarterback is just not working out whatsoever, they could bottom out, but I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm putting the faith in Will Levis and
I wouldn't book it. I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, exactly. I got Mike Leach in that one.
Same. After the bye week, they get Kentucky at home and then another back-to-back road slate to end the season at Ole Miss, at Tennessee.
The Kentucky game at home that late in the season's kind of interesting. I mean, Kentucky's been the better program, but actually these two teams have played kind of close in recent history. That could be interesting to be at home, but I got 3 losses if I'm being real. So
yeah, same here. I just got to favor Mike Stoops in that matchup. And I think Kentucky, to me, their season probably depends on whether or not they have a decent quarterback.
Yeah.
Because that defense is going to be it's consistent. The offense is just generally a quarterback away from pretty good. If they don't have the quarterback, they're just straight up not a good offense. But
I know. I don't want to give him too big of a head, but I know one Kentucky fan, so I'm going to let him speak for all Kentucky fans. And I actually misspoke a second ago. It's Will Rogers for Mississippi State. He's a Penn State transfer for Mississippi State, and then Kentucky has Will Levis, which is another Penn State transfer playing for an SEC team. Beho is very, very, very big on Mr. Levis and believes that he could bring a passing game to Kentucky. So I don't know. Hopefully for his sake, he's right. I don't think Penn State quarterbacks are traditionally all that great. And when you're on the third transfer, I'm not buying into it, but I still think they get Vandy.
Yeah, I would probably say Trace McSorley is the exception in recent history on Penn State quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm not too low on Clifford either, though.
No, I think Sean Clifford's he could be good, but the jury's still out.
Right.
Up next, South Carolina Gamecocks win total set at 3.5. This team was really bad last year.
Yeah, and I don't see it. I mean, you talk about being born with the silver spoon, man. Shane Beamer, Frank Beamer's kid, he has never been a head coach anywhere. He's just had D coordinator and O coordinator jobs, special teams, position coach, but they've always been Power 5 teams. He's never had to go to a Group of 5 program, and now he walks straight in for his first job as a head coach and gets the South Carolina Gamecocks job. I don't like that. I don't think he's proven anything, man.
Hey, their most hated team on the planet did the exact same thing with a Mr. Dabo Sweeney.
Fair enough.
So they're just trying to copy the blueprint.
I mean, isn't Shane Beamer was the brain power of WikiLeaks, wasn't he?
Oh, maybe that. If so, even better.
I'm pretty sure.
So they start the season off with Eastern Illinois at home. Now, everyone who listens to the regular Gymnasium knows that we're huge fans of directional Mich schools, but that does not translate over to directional Illinois school. I think the only Illinois school that we're kind of a fan of is what, Southern?
Yeah, I was going to say you are a Saluki guy, right?
Yeah, I'm a big Saluki guy, but that's the only one.
Yeah, Eastern Illinois, they're not a very good FCS program either here, so South Carolina should grab that one pretty easy.
Get that win. Then they start off immediately after that with a back-to-back road slate of at East Carolina and at Georgia.
Yeah, the Georgia game's definitely a loss. The ECU one, from a betting standpoint, I'm extremely curious to see what happens here. I feel like that Vegas is going to go ahead and favor the Gamecocks. I honestly, if I were making that line, I would not. I am on ECU in that game, and I hope they do favor the Gamecocks, to be honest.
I hope they do too. I'm going to give ECU the win there.
Same here.
After that, Kentucky and Troy both at home.
Yeah, I got them losing to Kentucky and beating Troy. The Troy one's not a gimme, though. Be careful.
I got them losing to Kentucky and beating Troy as well. Like you just said, super tough one. Can't really trust it. At Tennessee after that.
Yeah, I got that as a loss. Look at Tennessee, another shit program in this conference, but they're drawing. We've already seen it twice now. They get Vanderbilt at home, and now they get South Carolina at home. That's going to make that win total when we see it make a little more sense. So I got a loss for South Carolina. I got them beating Vandy on the second leg of Vandy's back-to-back.
Definitely haven't beating Vandy there. At Texas A&M before the bye week.
Yeah, that's a loss.
That's a loss right there. After the bye week, Florida at home, at Missouri, then Auburn and Clemson to finish off the season. I smell 4 losses, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, those are all losses. I mean, when you really look at this team, they bring 6 back on O, 7 back on D. They were pretty much right around the 100 mark in all scoring and total for both offense and defense. They got 4 of 5 O linemen back, and then running back Kevin Harris, who had 1,100 yards and 15 TDs last year. The dude's actually a stud. And then they have like nothing else. Their secondary is shit, and they want to run a 4-2-5 this year. So you can imagine how that's going to go. Here's my hypothesis. Here's my theory for South Carolina. Shane Beamer, until you get some recruits, why not run the triple option at South Carolina? Seriously, I would do it. You got a running back. You got a good running back. You have no secondary. Just absolutely milk the shit out of the clock, run the ball, and just hope that you wear a team out enough to beat them. And then once you get your recruits in, go to an actual offense. That is my advice to Shane Beamer. Run the fucking triple option.
I wonder how hard it would be to like transition from an offense, like the triple option, like to the triple option and then back out of the triple option.
Probably hard as shit. But I mean, with the recruits they have, with the talent they have in there this year, they lost a lot to the transfer portal. They're bringing back like nothing other than the O-line and Kevin Harris. I don't know, like just chalk up this season for most of your guys, bring in new recruits and start fresh because they don't have the talent to be good at anything this year.
Especially not in the SEC. It's just,
no.
Yeah, there's such a talent deficit. Up next, Tennessee Volunteers, win total set at 6 wins. Seems like kind of about right for Tennessee. They seem like a fringe bowl team.
Ah, man. I mean, they've been so bad lately. Now you get an obviously first-year head coach Josh Heupel, which, I mean, we kind of talked about it. Both of us are kind of questioning that after what happened to UCF after Scott Frost left. You have 7 total starters back on both sides of the ball combined. So 2 on offense, 5 on defense. This team was just everybody run the fuck out the door in the transfer portal. They lost everything. They lost Jared Guantanamo Bay. They lost just every single piece they had. I know he sucked, but still. So it's just that
it's hard to know. It's hard to know if he sucked or if with quarterbacks like that, it's hard to know if they are just like really, really bad or if it's the situation. I always assume it's a combination of the two, that he's just probably not that good, but he's not as bad as what he showed at Tennessee.
I think he was basically going to be another in a long line of game managing Tennessee quarterbacks,
Probably.
just year after year after year. And the wheels just fell off the bus with Pruitt at the end there. So this year they bring in, this is the thing, is there's Hendon Hooker from, I believe, Virginia Tech, and then Joe Milton coming in from Michigan. That's a quarterback battle. And from what I'm hearing, that Hooker has the edge, but with Heupel's offense, the way he likes to air it out, Hooker cannot throw the fucking ball, dude. He's a running quarterback. Joe Milton, I think, actually has like a lot of talent at the quarterback position. It just wasn't working out there in Michigan. I think
he's just a little raw.
Right. I think he's got to go Milton, man.
Yeah. That'll be an interesting quarterback battle to keep an eye on for the next couple weeks. Literally only 2 weeks away before we see this team. Holy shit.
Yes, sir. Against Bowling Green in that thrilling matchup.
Speaking of which, rolling right into the schedule, they start off with Bowling Green. Good job, Tennessee. Good job getting yourself a win. Game 1. That's week 1. You start off with a win. Not every team in the country is going to be able to say that. Exactly.
And to the garage faithful out there, here's just bet Tennessee. Always fade Bowling Green. There you go.
Yeah, that's just life. That's great financial advice. Just always bet against Bowling Green.
Absolutely.
Up next, they get the Pitt Panthers at home. And if anyone's been paying attention to anything I'm saying on almost any platform, I am very high on this Pitt team. Give me the Panthers.
Josh Heupel and anybody taking the Tennessee over, better hope you're wrong, because this is the most important game for that over under 6. I also have Tennessee losing this game, but I mean, they need it.
This is a very important one. I just think Pitt is in a much, much better situation.
I agree.
After that, they get Tennessee Tech at home.
So that's a win.
Then a back-to-back road stretch of at Florida, at Missouri. I mean, if you're going to do a back-to-back road stretch, you might as well do like a stretch that you were probably going to lose to both these teams, even if you played them at home.
Yeah, exactly. Those are 2 for sure losses.
After that, South Carolina at home.
That's a win, getting them at home.
That's a win right there. Ole Miss at home next.
I got them losing that.
The crazy thing with Ole Miss to me is they can win or lose like any game if this defense plays like they did last year. Like every game just going to turn into a fucking crazy like 51-48 shootout.
But the crazy thing is, with as bad as Ole Miss defense is, Josh Heupel actually had a defense that was just as terrible with UCF last year, specifically against the pass. So while this does feel like an anything can happen type of Ole Miss game, I think when you got 2 bad defenses, just go ahead and you take Matt Corral and you say, this dude's going to get it done. The final score is going to be like 65-50, and they get the win.
I will say, so they get at Alabama before the bye week. I'm just going to pen that in as a loss right now. Little preview of the next team we're previewing. Boom. Our boy Chase right there. Arkansas, 10 wins.
I don't advise people to take that.
He says probably 7, but maybe 10. He's hoping for 10. I'm hoping for 10. Let's keep it with Tennessee. After the bye week, they get to go to Kentucky.
Yeah, and that's another good break for the Tennessee Vols here. One of the other like weaker teams in the conference. I still have it as a loss, but they did beat Kentucky 34-7. Or no, Kentucky beat them 34-7 last year.
I know someone who's not going to be happy about that. Beho in the chat. Kentucky at 8 is what he's got. We'll get to that one later.
Since Beho's in, I'm going to go ahead and say Kentucky loses.
I have Tennessee losing to Kentucky.
I do as well.
Then they get a home stretch of Georgia, South Alabama, and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I have them losing to Georgia. No brainer there. And then winning against South Alabama and Vandy on the second leg of their back-to-back.
I do as well, but it would be the most Tennessee thing on the planet to fucking lose to South Alabama, and that would be hilarious.
I would really love that for Kane Womack to get that win. I actually like Kane Womack, but yeah, I don't see it.
I got him at 5 wins.
I got him at 5 as well, and that's why I say that Pitt one.
That is their season.
Because that's the thing is you have You have Bowling Green, Tennessee Tech, and South Alabama pretty much locks guaranteed wins at home, basically. And then you get two of the other worst teams in the conference, South Carolina and Vandy, at home. So you could say that's 5.
Mhm.
So now you need Pitt, Ole Miss, or Kentucky on the road, or your only other 3 winnable games. So, man,
those are the 3 you have to like circle in red ink if you're Josh Heupel. Those are the most important games of your season.
exactly. And the Pitt one is probably the best chance, but
I
I
just don't
like this
trust him.
under. I like the under.
Up next, the Arkansas Razorbacks with a win total set at 6. We already know what the other co-host of the Gymnasium thinks. Arkansas is going to win 10. Let's go through the schedule and see what the fuck is going to happen. It's a tough one.
I'll tell you, I'm pulling for them. I am. I like Arkansas. I like what they're doing. I love that you got Sam Pittman.
I love Pittman.
And I do too. He's such like a dude you just want to kick it with and watch football with, let alone just watch him on TV.
He's a guy I want to run through a fucking wall for.
Yes. And they did the same thing that Auburn did with Brian Harsin. I really like, or not Auburn. I think it is Auburn. Whatever. We'll get there. It's either Missouri or Auburn. But anyway, they brought in offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator, both with tons of coaching experience. You got Kendall Briles on offense, Barry Odom on defense. That's so important for a young head coach.
That Barry Odom hire is so fucking sneaky good. He was not as bad at Missouri as a lot of people peg him to be.
There was a lot of other bullshit going on in just the whole entire state of Missouri at that time. So it was a very tricky job that he had going on. But I mean, you got 8 starters on offense back for Kendall Briles and then 9 starters on defense back for Barry Odom. That's going to be dangerous. This team has talent, man.
Going through the schedule, starting off, 2 Texas teams, Rice and Texas, both at home.
You know the motto here, going in the garage, fuck Texas 2021 tour. It's still fucking on, baby. I got 2 wins.
I got 2 wins as well. Georgia Southern after that.
Yeah, a little bit of a tricky game sandwiched in between Texas and A&M right there. Be careful, but I got a win.
I have a win there as well, but like you said, you don't want a triple option team like in the middle of a good stretch. That's always rough. Texas A&M at home after that.
That's a loss.
That's a loss. I think Texas A&M is actually going to be pretty decent this year. And I hate saying that because I hate Texas A&M.
I do too. I hate Jimbo and I hate A&M, but they are going to be pretty damn good.
Then it is the first stretch of one of 2 back-to-back road slates at Georgia and at Ole Miss.
Yeah, so you're going to lose that Georgia game, Chase, no matter what. But the Ole Miss game, I have a loss. It's that second leg of the back-to-back. That's dangerous. But I will point out, Ole Miss has Alabama the week before. Teams playing after they play Alabama, it's pretty fucking common to lose that game the next week. So that is a winnable spot.
It's very winnable. I'm going to pencil it in as a loss right now just to try and get the more accurate number, in my opinion. But I could easily see Arkansas winning that one.
Agreed.
Up next, Auburn and University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, both at home.
Yeah, give the little backyard FCS a little love there with Pine Bluff. That'll be a win. Auburn, I know Chase is going to hate me for it, but I think Auburn is just a better team. I think they have a lot back that people aren't accounting for Brian Harsin this year. I think Bo Nix is actually going to be like markedly better. I'm going to give the edge to Auburn in that game, even on the road.
So I've been like kind of in contact with some like Auburn media people or like Auburn fans and whatnot. And yeah, they're very, very high on Bo Nix, but I'm also a little bit skeptical. It's hard for me to imagine he's that much better with Harsin than he was with Malzahn. And I think the revenge factor for Arkansas plays so heavily here that they get up for this game and they win.
Now that is the angle, the revenge factor after
because they won it. Fumble. They won it last year.
Yes. But I will point out that Boise State teams never actually have stellar quarterbacks from a talent perspective. So you're bringing Brian Harsin and Gus Malzahn, we all know fucking murders quarterbacks. He's terrible as a quarterback coach. So you're bringing a guy that could run a very, very efficient offense. And I think that's more the style of quarterback that Bo Nix actually is he's not a big aired out guy. He's not a gimmicky guy. He's going to hit those quick slant routes that Brian Harsin's going to run for him. And they have the running game to back it up with Tank Bigsby.
They
It's
do have a
gonna be
really good running game.
dangerous. Mm-hmm.
They have a really good fucking running game. I'm going to give them 2 wins here going into the bye week. After that, Mississippi State at home.
Man, I love getting that bye week before Mississippi State, and there's going to be some fireworks in this game. I think there's 2 quarterbacks in this conference that are going to shock a lot of people. One of them is going to be Will Rogers in the Mike Leach offense here in this second year, and the other one's going to be KJ Jefferson. I think the things that Kendall Briles is going to do with KJ Jefferson, that dude's going to look like a dark horse Heisman contender. And I mean that. I really think highly of KJ Jefferson. So
I like that.
Take the over in that game, and I am taking Arkansas.
I am also taking Arkansas here at LSU and at Alabama back to back.
Yeah, could there be a more brutal fucking back to back? Jeez. But I guess get your losses out of the way, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna give them 2 losses there. At LSU is just so brutal.
It is, man. That sucks.
And then they finish off with Missouri at home.
Yeah, I have them beating Missouri at home. So
I do not.
Okay, so we flopped on the Auburn and Missouri games.
Yep. Right at 6.
Yeah, right at 6, dude. This is what I was talking about Chase with. I know he wants to be really fucking optimistic, but to do it, you're going to have to win 2 of the Texas, Auburn, and Missouri games and probably like squeak out the fucking Ole Miss one. Like the wins are just too hard to find.
Yeah, I basically would just have to flop Missouri or LSU. I'm just going to go over just based on podcast host solidarity.
I don't want to. I'm not going to give my opinion then, just so I don't go against you.
You just call it a stay away.
Yeah, I'll say it's a stay away from me.
There we go. Up next, Mississippi State win total set at 6. I'm just going to blindly tell you probably go over.
Yeah, I mean, if anything stays true to Mike Leach in his second year in a program, the first year always sucks. The second year is always much, much better. He trimmed a lot of the fat last year. People left that program left and right. It was like fucking Afghanistan is right now. Pretty much that's what Mississippi State was last year in Starksville. Yeah, insane. So, but he does bring back 8 on both sides of the ball this year. And expect that offense to be much, much, much better with an actual offseason.
They start the season off with La Tech, Louisiana Tech at home, NC State at home.
Neither one are gimmies, but getting them both at home, I'm going to go ahead and give them 2 wins.
I'm going to give them 2 wins as well. That's kind of a tough, like you said, neither of those are gimmies. Then they get to go travel to Memphis.
I'm not really high on this Memphis team at all, but I think it's a terrible, terrible spot for Mississippi State to have to hit the road. Because like we said, you start off tough, and then you got LSU coming into town the next week. I'm actually going to give them a loss here against Memphis.
I'm going to give them a win versus Memphis, and then I think they beat LSU as well. I think they actually start 4-0.
I got them losing to LSU, and I'll tell you why in a little bit here.
What's the reasoning? Because I have after they go to Memphis, I have them beating Memphis. Then they get LSU at home.
Okay, well
you didn't get to them. We get to LSU.
I'm gonna no. It's just in a couple more games here. I'll tell you why.
There we go. At Texas A&M right before the bye week.
Yeah, I got a loss there.
I got a loss there as well. Out of the bye week, Alabama.
Yeah, so this is the second leg of a back-to-back road trip for Alabama. Mississippi State catches the bye week right there, right where Mike Leach can plan for you all week, while Bama is coming off of the first game away against College Station and Texas A&M. I think Bama's going to get A&M done, but you sleep on Mike Leach, and that man is going to burn you. I don't think that Mississippi State could beat LSU and Alabama, but I think that they are going to beat one of LSU or Alabama. Alabama is the one I'm going with. I think Mike Leach is going to shock the world and beat Alabama in Starksville.
That would be fucking beautiful. I don't have it. I have Alabama getting the win here. I have it really close. I have them definitely. They're going to cover the spread, but I have Alabama getting the win here. After that, they go to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's a win.
Always nice to get your cupcake right after Alabama.
Whoa, sorry about that. Jeez.
Kentucky at home after that.
Yeah, Kentucky does snag a bye week before this, but I am still going to give the win to Mississippi State.
I am as well. And then at Arkansas, at Auburn.
Arkansas snags a bye week before playing Mississippi State as well, so I am going to have them lose that and then lose the second leg of the back-to-back at Auburn.
I'm going to have them beating Auburn, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm going to have them losing to Arkansas, beating Auburn. I think they win the second leg of the back-to-back, but lose the first. That's what I'm going with here. Then Tennessee
I'll tell
State.
You what, if they force a shootout, then you'll see that Bo Nix isn't good enough.
Yeah. Then it's at Tennessee. No, it's Tennessee State at home and Ole Miss at home in the Egg Bowl, one of college football's greatest rivalry games.
Yes. Well, the Tennessee State, that's a win, obviously. And let me tell you why the Egg Bowl is one of the greatest rivalries. Because it's back on fucking Thanksgiving this year, baby. Fuck the NFL. Egg Bowl's back on Turkey Day. That's my shit.
Yes.
Love it.
It's also one of the best because there's always insane shit that happens every time.
Oh, God, it's always the craziest game, man. You can never predict it. I'm going to predict a win, but who the fuck knows what's going to happen in that game? But I'm giving Mike Leach the win on Turkey Day. Fuck yeah, get some extra.
I'm predicting the loss for Mike Leach here. I'm actually very high on Lane Kiffin in this Ole Miss team.
Fair enough, man. Just hopefully they could defend the pass a little bit.
I got him at 8 wins. I got Mississippi State at 8 wins.
I got them at 7, but I'm pretty comfortable on this over.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable on the over too. Like if they lose to LSU or Auburn or something like that, I don't see them. I just see them getting somebody.
Yeah, Bama.
I mean, yeah.
Like, Bama,
if they lose to LSU and they get Bama, they still on my schedule. They still have 8 wins. Like easy.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Up next, Beho's team himself. He's got Kentucky at 8. Their win total is set at 7. Let's see what we think.
Yep.
Start the season off with ULM, Missouri, and Chattanooga all at home.
Yeah, nice little start to the season, getting 3 straight home games. ULM's an easy win. I do think Missouri is just that much better than Kentucky. Mm-hmm. I got them taking the win on the road in Kentucky, and then they're going to beat Chattanooga.
I got them 2-1 in that stretch as well, losing to Missouri. At South Carolina after that.
I have them losing on the road at South Carolina. I don't remember the reason for it, but hey, I'm fine with it.
Is it because right after they get Florida at home?
Yeah, you know what? That
is a potential look-ahead spot.
It is a look-ahead spot, and that is actually why. Because of that game. That game is actually like a really big fucking deal for Kentucky. They love that game. They love that game.
Speaking of which, can Kentucky get it done against Florida?
No, I don't think so. It's Florida. Florida really traditionally owns this rivalry. There's not a lot of years where Kentucky catches them. It is tough because it's up there, but I'm not going to pick it to happen.
Okay, so I'm going to give the win to Florida as well, but my thought process is this could be a potential down year for Florida. They're resetting a lot. This could be a potential Kentucky catches them year.
It really could be. I mean, it really could be.
I wouldn't bank on it.
And no, I do have Kentucky beating South Carolina. Okay. I was like, what the fuck? Why would I have that? No, I have Kentucky beating South Carolina. All right.
Makes even more sense then.
Yeah. So LSU up next, right?
LSU at home up next, and then at Georgia for the bye week.
All right. So they catch LSU in between Auburn and Florida. And let me tell you something. In the last decade, LSU has only traveled up to Kentucky 3 times, and they won one of them. And they won 2 of them, but they were both very close wins. And they lost the year they won the BCS National Championship. They lost in Kentucky. LSU really struggles against a much lesser Kentucky opponent when they have to travel up there. It's pretty crazy. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give the win to Kentucky here over.
I'm going to give the win to Kentucky as well for a similar reason. I don't trust Ed Orgeron to keep his boys focused. In between 2 major games.
I agree. Same here.
After that, it's at Georgia before the bye week. It's rough. That's a loss right there.
Yeah, that's a loss.
After the bye week, it's at Mississippi State. Love getting them after the bye week.
Yeah, I still got them as a loss, but that is a good spot to prepare for the air raid.
Good spot for them. Then they get Tennessee at home.
That's a win.
That's a win. At Vanderbilt, win.
Yep, that's a win.
New Mexico State at home. There you go. Kentucky, there's your SEC roots.
Yeah, that's bring them in. That's a win.
Finishing the season off at Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville. That's going to be a crazy game this year, I think. I do have Kentucky losing it, but that's like a true 50-50 game.
That is a huge 50-50 game, and I'm going to give Kentucky the win here. Satterfield, like that program could be in turmoil by the end of the year.
It is really hard to decide which way to go with Satterfield and
That
the
is
Louisville
the legit,
Cardinals
like
this
most
year.
50-50 game I've seen so far.
Louisville plays a lot of 50-50 games this year, man. They got
do.
that Kentucky one, they got the UCF one, and they also have the Ole Miss one, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
Damn right. So I got Kentucky at 8 wins.
I got them at 6.
I'm with Beho here.
They do have the schedule line up to do it. I mean, they could even take Missouri at home. Potentially get that Florida game, potentially get that Mississippi State, potentially get that Louisville. I actually think I am on this over.
I'm on the over for Kentucky. I think their ceiling, their absolute ceiling is like 9-3, 10-2. Like 10-2 would be a breakout fucking incredible year.
This Kentucky team actually legitimately could win 10 games.
It all just depends on the quarterback.
Yeah. It really does. And Levis, I mean, there's no way that Levis is going to be worse than what they had last year. I mean, they couldn't throw the ball at all last year. And then they got stud running backs all over the place. Rodriguez Jr. is nasty. Dude averaged 6.6 yards per carry, had 11 touchdowns, 800 yards. They got all their wide receivers back. Nothing like crazy nasty there, but they got a stud O-line, 3 of 5 back there. 9 upperclassmen on the defense. 8 of them are seniors. There's a lot to like about this Kentucky team, and that schedule actually lines up great. I agree with you. I'm on the over.
Up next, the Auburn Tigers.
Yes, one of 3 Tigers in this conference.
Pretty fucking insane. Their win total is set at 7.
Yeah, pretty. Doesn't that feel high for like a first year coach for Harsin?
It does, but it also feels low for what Auburn generally seems to be pegged at each year. So I'm going to say 7 seems about right.
Yeah, I mean, for what I have this team doing, I'll tell you right now, it's real close. It just felt kind of high, but they do have a lot back. And this is the second team that I was talking about, bringing in a first-year head coach. They got Mike Bobo as OC and then Derek Mason as defensive coordinator. I like that. I just like all the experience on a coaching staff for a first-year coach.
I like that a lot, too. So they start the season off with the typical SEC West cupcakes, Akron at home and Alabama State at home.
Yeah, two wins there, no question.
2 easy wins. Then they get to actually travel up north to Penn State.
Yeah, I got them dropping that game. That's a far travel for the SEC.
It's a far travel, and that's a tough place to play. I got Penn State winning that one. Sandwiched in between Penn State and LSU, we got Georgia State. Watch out, Auburn. Watch the fuck out. This is a look ahead of look aheads right here.
Yes, and Sean Elliott he's beaten some Power 5 teams, namely Tennessee in the SEC within the last few years. So that dude, he gets his squad up for these games. I think they beat UNC a couple years ago too. They beat these Power 5 teams when they're not paying attention. I'm going to give Auburn the win, but that is a tricky spot.
That is tricky. And if you want to hear just how high we are on Georgia State, go back and listen to our Sun Belt preview.
Yeah,
we both these Georgia State and Georgia Southern were both pretty high on them.
Yeah, I bet one of those two is going to catch this SEC team sleeping. They both got one.
After that, they travel to Death Valley to play LSU. Tiger on Tiger action.
Yeah, I got a loss there.
I got a loss there as well. Georgia at home after that. Another loss for me.
Same here.
Easy peasy at Arkansas. L-Town all day, every day in my book.
I got the win.
No. I'm just going to say no.
Fair enough.
After the bye week, Ole Miss at home.
I think Harsin will have him coached up on defense good enough after the bye week to get the win over Ole Miss.
I'm with you there. I think this is one of those that Ole Miss will drop. Give me Auburn here at Texas A&M after that.
Yeah, A&M's catching a bye week as if they needed much more help to beat Auburn. It's going to be a win for A&M.
That's going to be a win for A&M. Mississippi State at home. After that, I have Mississippi State taking that W.
Oof. Yeah, that's right. You did. It's the second
did.
leg of a back-to-back road trip. I got Auburn taking down Mississippi State there.
At South Carolina, and then Alabama at home for the Iron Bowl to finish off the season.
Yeah, I got a win at South Carolina, and I'll tell you what, if you get the unfortunate luck of drawing both Georgia and Alabama in the SEC with your schedule, that really sucks. But at least you do get them both at home. However, lost Alabama.
At the loss of Alabama, it is rough to get both of them. I have Auburn at 5 wins.
I got them 7-5. I got them flip-flop there.
Yeah, I got them at 5 and 7. I'm going under here. I think they're around a bowl team. Like 7 just seemed right. They're around like I could just as easily see them at 7 and 5 as 5 and 7. So
I think 7 is basically like right perfect on the number for this team for what I have them projected at. I would definitely lean under as well because there are a lot of games they could trip up on. I just think with the way that Harson's going to have this offense with 4 or 5 O linemen, and you got Tank Bigsby back for his sophomore year, and then you got Bo Nix, I think the defense is good enough. You're going to control so many of these games. I think that just really bodes well for a team with a win total.
It really does just come down to like Bo Nix, how he progresses in a Harsin offense. It is hard to fade a good coach, and I think Brian Harsin is a very good coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think that this job is too big for him.
I don't think so either. Up next, the Missouri Tigers with a win total set at 7.
Hey, you know what's interesting about Harsin real quick? I didn't actually know this. He followed up Malzahn after Malzahn left Arkansas State for Auburn. He actually took the Arkansas State job before he got the Boise job. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's just been picking up Malzahn's trash for years now. So interesting.
There you go.
But yeah, Missouri, we're talking a little Eli Drinkowitz back for year 2.
G5 coaches who were at a good spot and then decide to like pick up a Power 5 SEC job.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna be doing all right. I think he's got him going in the right direction, man.
He's been surprising me. He's been like surprising me a lot. I did not have high hopes because he was only at App State for what, like a year or 2?
Yeah, he was at App State for like I think 2 years after Satterfield left, and then he bolted, and I think he took the NC State O coordinator job, didn't he?
I don't even remember, man. I thought
and then he came straight to Missouri. But yeah, he's already got this team, and they have Steve Wilkes as their defensive coordinator, longtime NFL coach. I think that's very, very interesting.
Yeah, so he went from offensive coordinator at NC State to App State in 2019. Yeah, he only coached at App State for 1 year.
Oh, okay. I had it
that's
reversed.
why I was like, holy shit. So
I had it reversed. Okay, I got you.
Let's jump into this schedule. Central Michigan at home to begin the season. As much as I want to say Central Michigan wins, I have to say my brain tells me Missouri.
Yeah, Chase would be so upset with you, but yeah, that's a win for Missouri.
My heart tells me Central Michigan, but my brain, my dumb, stupid brain, tells me Missouri.
And you do got Jim McElwain coming back to the SEC, though, for that game, so that's interesting.
There you go. At Kentucky after that.
I got a win.
Got to win. Southeast Missouri.
Yeah, that should be a win.
At the win right there, then at Boston College. I feel like that is going to be a decent game. I don't think it's cold yet, though. And Missouri gets cold anyway. Missouri's not one of these like super southern teams.
You're right. I gave Missouri the loss. I am high on Boston College, and I don't trust SEC teams traveling. However, I will say Missouri is one of the teams that I could totally see pulling off that win. So I do have a loss, but that's not a high confidence play for me.
I got a win for Missouri. And then Tennessee, North Texas, and Texas A&M all at home before the bye week.
Yeah, I got 2 wins and a loss there. They catch Tennessee on the second leg of a back-to-back, so should be no trouble there. North Texas, no defense, no problem. Losing A&M.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. They could give A&M a game. Like, don't sleep on that one, but I have to favor Texas A&M in that one. After the bye week, it's at Vanderbilt and at Georgia back-to-back.
Yeah, I got them beating Vandy, but taking the loss there to Georgia on the second leg.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Lost to Georgia just from being that second leg. South Carolina at home, Florida at home, and then at Arkansas to finish off the season.
I got them beating South Carolina. No surprise there. I do have them beating Florida at home. I think Missouri is the better team this year. I'll say it right now. I got them beating Florida at home.
I'm right there with you. I also have them beating Florida. I think Missouri is going to be cold that time of the year. It just legit will be. And they're a dangerous team. People are sleeping on this Missouri team, I feel.
Dude, the job that Drinkowitz did just poaching talent from other teams, specifically the G5. So they got Blaze Aldridge from Rice, who's like a long-time linebacker, just a stud for Rice. And then I finally figured out how he got this. He got Tulsa's top 2 corners from last year. So Tulsa lost one to the NFL, and then they lost their other 2 top corners, Allie Green the 4th and Caleb Evans. And I was like, how the fuck did Drinkwitz get both of them? It's because their DB coach from Tulsa went to Missouri, so the corners followed them. So those are 3 huge G5 poaches there. I mean, that's going to help that defense out a ton.
It's going to help a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to help a fuck ton. I'm very much on the over here. I have Missouri at 10 wins. I could they're my dark horse for the East, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think Kentucky might be my dark horse for the East now. Apparently,
Kentucky very realistic. Like they're both right there for me. I just favor Missouri just a little bit more.
I do have them 8-4, and I think this is a no-brainer over. Honestly, I am on page with you there.
Up next, Ole Miss Rebels, baby. Win total set at 7.5. Can the Lane Train do it?
Well, I'll tell you what. He's got the talent on this roster to do it, but they were over the 100 mark in every single defensive category in the nation, including 126th total defense out of 127 teams last year. If you want to have a good season, Lane Kiffin, you got to do better than that. You absolutely have to do better than that.
You just have to have like a decent defense. It doesn't even need to be good. Like you've seen what I would say Oklahoma 2020, like that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you
can even be worse than that.
Just get within 100 in total defense and scoring defense also. That's
fucking
really
boy right here. Ole Miss or A&M is going to take a game from Alabama. They're at least going to, I mean, probably they might both cover. I think I would favor Ole Miss just because Nick Saban seems to always just pound A&M's dick into the dirt. I think he's still pissed off from the Johnny Manziel days.
I think so too. And also, yeah, I didn't even know about it until Colby pointed it out on the Megapod that Jimbo was talking shit. You don't talk shit to Nick Saban. He's going to lay it on them real bad. But Ole Miss, they've been known to take Alabama down. So I think your boy might have a good call right there.
I think so. I my boy Christian with the fucking call. Let's get into the schedule. They start off with Louisville at a neutral site in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's another one of those kind of 50-50 games. I probably actually am going to lean a lot more on Ole Miss's side. I remembered it was neutral site. I forgot it was SEC neutral site, which means you're playing in the South. Yeah, easy win for Ole Miss.
I'm going to say Ole Miss gets that one as well. Austin P, and Tulane at home right after that.
Yeah, that's 2 more wins. That Tulane game could get quirky, though, but it's a win.
That Tulane game could very well get quirky. I still favor Ole Miss here. Then they get the bye week before going to Alabama.
Yeah, I love getting that bye week before Alabama. I got it as a loss right here, but nothing would surprise me there.
I'm going to put it in as a fucking win. Lane Kiffin gets it done. He's one of these former Saban disciples who actually beats Nick Saban. They were so close last year. They were one of the closest teams to do it last year. And I think with an improved defense and an Alabama offense who I don't think can be – there's no fucking way they can be as good on offense as they were in 2020. So you just won't be able to keep up. That's my opinion.
I agree, man. And we all know what the kryptonite to Alabama is when there's actually a star caliber quarterback on the other side of the football. And Matt Corral is that guy. He's a Heisman favorite for a reason. He's fucking good.
After that, though, Arkansas at home, the letdown.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, if you have Alabama losing to Ole Miss, there's no way that Ole Miss is beating Arkansas. So I haven't flip-flopped, but yeah, I understand why you do that.
There is no fucking way. that Ole Miss is beating Arkansas after also beating Alabama. Not
No,
a fucking chance in hell that is happening. At Tennessee afterwards, though, give them the win.
That's a win.
LSU at home, I'm giving them the win there.
Yeah, and that's where I went. I went with the win as well. I think LSU has the corners, but Coach O just can't seem to figure out how to put all his pieces in play. I'm going to go with Lane Kiffin. I'm going to go with Ole Miss to get the win here.
After that, it's at Auburn time.
I have that as a loss.
I have that as a loss as well. Liberty and Texas A&M both at home.
Man, I'll tell you what, that Liberty Ole Miss game, like it might be the game I'm like most fucking excited for that game out of this whole season. It's crazy. I got the win for Ole Miss, but any fucking thing can happen there.
You think Hugh Freeze doesn't want to absolutely like prove a point?
Oh, I think he 100% does. But I also think if there's another coach that could be as scummy as Hugh Freeze, it's Lane Kiffin, and I think he's just gonna know that.
So, do you have a preference of the two? Because I'm easily on Lane Kiffin's side because I feel like he owns it. He's one of those guys that just he knows what he is, and he plays like he even plays it up, and I respect it.
If I'm being honest, I love both of those coaches. Like I
like
really
them both.
do. But yeah, I actually probably would go with Lane Kiffin just for the same reason you said. Like he's always known, like he's just a young, like pretty good looking dude that people don't respect as a coach in the NCAA because they feel like, is just always Monty Kiffin's boy, blah, blah, blah. But he's always owned up to it, and I've always liked him for it. So yeah, I agree with you.
I got Ole Miss winning against Liberty. Then Texas A&M, I have them losing.
Same here. And let me also mention that there is no more humbling experience than when your team leaves you on the tarmac of the fucking airport to fire you.
He's like the poster child for like that, for that whole thing.
Yes, he really is. I've never heard of anything like that, but that's surely got to be a humbling experience.
Got him losing Texas A&M and then beating Vanderbilt.
Same here.
And then finishing the season at Mississippi State for the Egg Bowl. Give me the win for Ole Miss.
Yeah, I got him taking the loss to Leach in that one. We were talking about DJ Durkin the other day. DJ Durkin is the D coordinator on Ole Miss. And talking about that defense, how bad it was last year, 126 total out of 127. Well, they did sign 14 recruits this year on the defensive side of the ball. They understand it's a problem. They're going to be addressing it. They got 7 returning starters. I don't think it's going to be an overwhelming improvement, but I think it's going to be much better, which is going to make this team dangerous. I have 8-4, and I like the over.
I got 8-4 as well. Love the over. You got to think the DJ Durkin, as much as like he's got a lot of baggage with him, he did some really fucking good things on that Michigan defense when Harbaugh first started there. And he's a really good D coordinator.
He had Maryland looking decent as well. I mean, he's not a bad coach. He made a mistake. Hopefully, I mean, it was a very tragic one, but hopefully he learned from it. I would assume he would.
I fucking hope so.
And we talked about Matt Canada the other day too. He's the OC for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah,
I didn't know that, but
I love that. Up next, another Tiger team, the LSU Tigers. The win total set at 8.5.
Yeah, this was probably out of all 130 teams that we have talked about by the end of this. This was probably the team I had the most difficulty grading out and figuring out. Like, what do you make of it? They won a national championship 2 years ago and then won 5 games the year after. Like, what the fuck do you make of that?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I really don't know. Let's jump into this. Yeah,
if you're really breaking it down, I think Joe Burrow is the best college football quarterback I've ever seen in my life. If I'm being honest, college football quarterback, as far as from a season standpoint, he looked like a seasoned Tom Brady on the college football level to me. So I think he had so much to fucking do with that season.
I think people are still like, we're still also taking into account Joe Brady still probably had like a shitload to do with that season as well.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, he's got new coaches all around him. And he said he's going to be much more involved with both sides of the ball. Ed Ogeron did. So
don't like that. I don't like that.
No, me either. I don't think he's a
only position group I want Eddie O involved with are the offensive and defensive lines.
Exactly. And getting in fights with them out in the parking lot. But
exactly. Yeah. So they start the season off at UCLA.
It's way too far of a travel for the SEC, man. I hope it doesn't become a big public dog pick, but I'm on the UCLA upset.
I'm on UCLA upsetting as well. Not only is it super far for LSU to travel, UCLA gets the benefit of a week 0 game beforehand.
Absolutely. And did you hear what happened to quarterback Miles Brennan?
I did.
Yeah, the most Louisiana Bayou accident ever. Breaks his arm tripping with his flip flop in a dock while he's fishing.
That is brutal. So I have them losing to UCLA. Then they get McNeese and Central Michigan both at home. Now, is it just they're just playing McNeese? They're not playing McNeese State, right?
I have McNeese State written down.
Okay. Either way, they're going to win.
It's a win. And I got them beating
Michigan.
Jim McElwain as well. Yep.
As do I. Then they go to Mississippi State.
Yeah, I got the win there.
I got the win there as well. I think. Let me recheck. I got the loss. There we go. I got the loss for LSU against Mississippi State. And then they get Auburn at home.
Yeah, I got them beating Auburn at home.
Got them beating Auburn at home. At Kentucky.
I got a loss there traveling up north.
Got to be consistent here. I got a loss there as well. Florida at home.
Yeah, I got them beating Florida. I still think they're in a better spot than I think Florida is this year, to be honest.
It's a tough one. So I think Florida was the better team last year, obviously.
Yeah, but they lost a lot more.
It's true. At home, give me LSU. It's at home.
Yeah.
At Ole Miss after that.
I got a loss for LSU there.
I got a loss there as well. After the bye week, they get to go to Alabama. Nick Saban is still on revenge mode from 2019. He's still pissed off about that.
He's never going to forget that. That right there tells you everything you need to know about Eddie O as a coach. To be in Alabama and say this is our fucking house now, to encourage your players to do that. It's the dumbest coaching move I've ever heard of. It's a
really
loss.
Dumb. That's a loss. Arkansas at home after that.
I got to win.
Got to win there as well. ULM at home, win.
Yep.
Texas A&M to finish the season.
I do have them winning that as well.
I do as well. I'm at 7 wins.
I got them 8-4.
This is like the perfect number.
I know. I don't. I mean, this team could win 10 games, 11 games.
They could. This is like we have no idea what to think of this team.
It's really tough. I mean, on every position, they got all 5 linemen back. 4 of them are seniors. I mean, I could go on for 20 more minutes about everything they have back. But then you just look at the fact that the D allowed 34.9 points per game last year. It's the most in the school's history.
Who's their D coordinator now?
You know what? I don't even know who they brought in, honestly. I forgot to write it down.
Let's see. Durante Jones.
That's where was he before?
NFL, it looks like.
Okay. Huh. I don't know if that's going to do it.
Like, I'll give him a little bit of a pass for some of those games, defensive-wise, because they did have Bo Pelini, who is just the anti-adjuster. He just never adjusts.
I was very curious to know your opinions on Bo Pelini, because I have a few opinions on Bo Pelini, too.
Okay, so he was the defensive backs coach for the Vikings.
Okay.
Last year.
Vikings, big step back in defense last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if it was because of their D-backs, but yeah, they did have a big step back. But yeah, I have a bunch of it. Bo Pelini, I would say, out of every Nebraska head coach, him and Scott Frost are probably the most complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I always wondered. I've never like really talked to a Nebraska fan before you. So, I mean, from my standpoint, I always thought that I thought the firing him basically was a little crazy. He was winning 9 and 10 games there. I thought that was the ceiling. Like, I thought that was it, you know?
No, so the thing was, yeah, he was winning 9 games. He was like, he would only lose 4 games every season. That was the whole Bo Pelini thing. Like 9 and 4 was Bo Pelini day every year. But the thing was, the games he would lose would be to teams that we were supposed to be like comparable with. Like we were supposed to be around Wisconsin's level. We're supposed to be around Iowa's level. He just got blown out. He would get blown out every loss. Like, and anytime we played any team with any pulse, blowout. Like the one time we beat Wisconsin, guess what? We played them in the Big Ten championship. We lost. They scored like almost 70. They scored just like shitloads of points. Every game was a blowout. So the Bo Pelini firing, this will be, I could wax Podek on like Nebraska fucked up coaching hirings forever, but I'll just finish with this. The Bo Pelini firing, I was kind of okay with at the time. He had kind of run his course. That was like 2009 was the closest he was ever going to get. Like, I think maybe if that season changes and we win the Big 12, then his entire tenure is looked at differently. But the firing I was okay with. It was the hiring of Mike Riley where it really stopped. Like, that was just bad.
That hiring made no sense whatsoever. So and I just remembered. I remember he called the athletic director a pussy.
Well, and then he came after the fans in 2011.
That was the mistake because I know the players. I remember the players were in his corner.
So the players, like, he kind of like had like a whole cult thing going on with the players. There was some rumors that he was like trying to turn the players against the fan base, and there was a lot of like bad blood between like a lot of the like half the fan base and Bo Pelini, and like really bad blood between him and the athletic department.
Wow,
it was very complicated. That was rough.
At least he ran out the tunnel with that cat. That was pretty.
I mean, he seemed awesome. He was like, he came in fucking. Oh, he couldn't have been more praised when he started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then he left.
I think the real turning point was 2009 when we didn't win the Big 12 that year. That 1 second loss to Texas really like just fucked everything up.
Because but the Stoops family, and then Pelini, they are like my hometown. They're Youngstown, Ohio guys. You know, so that was their careers I've always followed. And I always liked Pelini. I fucking hate every Stoops alive. Except for, actually, I take that back. Mark Stoops bought me a drink at a bar. So, actually, I'm cool with him. Bob,
also,
not a fan.
Maybe the downside for Pelini is once his brother got fired for, like, being a raging druggie.
Yeah, well.
Good old Carl.
That's what my town's all about, baby.
Anyway, fucking here we go. Now we're on to Florida Gators. Win total set at 9.
Yeah, the win total set at 9. The AP poll has them at 11 in the country. They bring back 9 total starters when you combine both sides of the ball. 5 on offense, 4 on defense. Their defense last year, 30.8 points per game allowed. That was the most the program's allowed since fucking World War II. Not
insane.
Good. So, I mean, you know, obviously, wide receiver, tight end, you lose your top 2 targets there to the NFL draft. You lose Kyle Trask. Great season that man had. You're going to put in Emory Jones. I don't see what everyone is seeing preseason to tell me that this team is a fringe top 10 team. I just don't get it.
I hear some people talking like a fringe playoff team.
I mean, you know, they're
I guess
one of the only teams that have a shot.
I guess like any team in the SEC, if you were like one of the top 3 SEC teams, you're like a fringe playoff team because all you have to do is win your conference.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can even lose like 2 games and win their conference and get in.
Exactly. And everybody knows on that side of the conference, it's Georgia or it's Florida. They're the only ones that have a fucking prayer. Everybody knows that. So that's the whole deal with that, I guess. But I preseason rankings are stupid anyway, but ranking them 11 to me, I just don't understand it.
I love stupid preseason rankings. That's one thing I disagree with you and Colby is I actually love the preseason rankings because it's like perfect for fucking content. It's great. I love it.
Well, I agree with you on that, and I like making my own preseason rankings. Like I love making mine because
I do hate how much they affect the season.
Yes, that's the deal. Is you make it what you're specifically not supposed to do is make it based off of history. You're not supposed to just make Ohio State the number 1 team in the nation because they're Ohio State. You got to look at, Florida can't be the number 11 because they're the Florida Gators. You have to look at the roster because they say it doesn't matter. But it does, because at the end of the year, when somebody looks back and says, we beat number 11 Florida Gators, and then it's used as an argument for the fucking playoff committee, that's when it's a goddamn problem.
Because you'll be like, oh, we beat number 11. It's like, oh, this team won like 7 games?
Exactly. But when Boise beats them, they're like, oh, that team won 7 games. But if Alabama beats them, we beat number 11 Florida.
Bullshit. Let's get into the schedule for the Florida Gators. They start off with Florida Atlantic at home.
Yeah, it's a win.
Win right there at USF.
Another win.
Alabama at home.
Really tricky game for Bryce Young for his first true road game going into the Swamp. However, I really don't think Florida's as good as everyone else does. I got a loss.
Got a loss too. I could potentially see Florida covering depending what the spread is, but I got a loss for Florida.
I
Tennessee
probably
at
do
home.
like the cover.
Yeah.
Tennessee at home's a win.
That's a win. At Kentucky, the first time this team leaves Florida.
A very tentative win.
Yeah, I'll give them a close win there. Vanderbilt at home, win.
Win.
At LSU, I think we both checked that as a loss.
Yes, sir.
Bye week, and then they get Georgia in the Waclop.
Yes. The biggest COVID party of them all. That's a loss to Georgia.
That's a loss to Georgia for sure. At South Carolina.
That is a win.
That's a win. Samford, I hate these SEC fucking gimme games at the end of the year.
Yeah. When the games mean more in November, that's when they.
Yeah, I mean they'll
Stanford.
say they won't say that the games mean more, but everyone knows that the games fucking mean more in November.
Yep. So that's a win.
And then at Missouri,
I got a loss.
and then Florida State to finish off the season. I got a win.
At this point, I have the Florida Gators 7-4, which means absolutely nothing to the Florida Gators. You're already bowling. Who cares? You're not in the playoff hunt. I'm going to go ahead and give Mike Norvell and the FSU Seminoles. I'm giving them the win in Tallahassee, baby. Let's do it.
I know you're a Florida State fan when you say that. I got Florida winning here, getting to 8.
It's actually in Gainesville. I'm sorry. It's not in Tallahassee, but I still got the win. I got them 7-5, but either way, I'm really comfortable on this under. I think this team is really overrated. Really overrated.
I'm pretty damn comfortable on the under. I could definitely see like a Kentucky upsetting them. I could see there's basically Kentucky and Florida State are the two losses I see. And I don't see them beating Georgia or Alabama.
No, again, it's another team that drew Georgia and Alabama. You're telling me I got to go under 9 when there's 2 pretty sure losses on the schedule?
It's pretty easy right there.
Pretty comfortable with that.
Up next, Texas A&M, win total set at 9.5.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising to see the 9.5 when you really look at, like, I know Kellen Mond's gone, and I'm actually in Colby Dance Corner on that one. I was never a big Kellen Mond guy. I never thought he was a very good quarterback. But for me, the bigger deal is that they are losing 4 starters on that O-line. They only bring back 1. That's what really concerns me. And looking at the over-under 9.5, I was like, wow, this can't be good. Like, there's no way they're going over. But let's get into the schedule.
Such a fucking easy schedule. Let's get into it. Kent State to start the season. And I love Kent State. But, man, they're not getting it done.
No, they're going to get waxed.
At Colorado, and yeah, you like to see these SEC teams travel, but Colorado has a lot of questions.
Yeah, and somehow A&M worked it out. So this game looks like it's at Colorado, but it's actually in Denver, Mile High Stadium. So that's not a true home game for Colorado because Texas A&M apparently isn't playing true road games this year.
I guess not. I mean, that's basically a road game. Boulder's right there.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, but still, the fact that you're not on a college campus, what the hell?
Yeah, that's fucked up. I'm going to give the win to A&M. New Mexico after that.
That's a win.
Easy win. Arkansas, guess what? Not a true road game.
No, sir. They got them in fucking Arlington.
I'd actually say this, in fact, favors Texas A&M pretty heavily.
Yeah, I would say there's really no debate in that. That's an interesting road game for Texas A&M. Yeah,
Mississippi State at home.
That's a win.
That's a win. Alabama at home. That's a fucking huge loss. Give me Alabama in the points.
Yeah, that's the one that everybody's going to be circling and thinking Alabama's going to lose that game. That's not the one I picked. Nah, loss.
At Missouri. I got them winning. But watch out, because after you play Alabama, it's never a gimme. And
on the road, man. That might be honestly one of their, like,
might have to flip that.
Like the toughest non-Bama game on their schedule. That's rough. I have them a win also, but yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, looking at it like this, that's rough. That's not a gimme. South Carolina at home afterwards, though, is.
Yeah, that's a win.
Then they get the bye week. Auburn at home.
Yeah, easy game with the bye before. That's a win.
Give them the win. At Ole Miss.
I got them winning that one. Their defense is just too good.
Yep, I think their offense can keep up, so I'm going to give them the win there. Prairie View A&M.
That's tough game at the end of the year there. That's a win.
Tough one. And then at LSU to end the season.
I got them losing that one.
I got them losing that one as well. This team really only plays 3 true road games: LSU, Ole Miss, and Missouri.
God, this is a tough over under because it hinges pretty much entirely on that Missouri game.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I could see them beating LSU.
Yeah,
It's those 2 games that are like that this whole thing kind of hinges on.
and
I'm
everybody's real wrapped around the quarterback thing. They have Isaiah Spiller, who's one of the best college football running backs in the country this year. That dude is nasty. He is a monster. With the defense that this team has, it was 9th total in the country last year, and it's only going to get better with 9 starters back. This team's going to be tough to beat, man. Really,
I gotta say, I lean over.
I think I do too because that schedule's bullshit.
And I hate that. I hate Texas A&M and I hate Jimbo Fisher, but yeah, I gotta lean over. Fuck, it's gross.
Good God! So what's their non-conference? It's Kent State, Colorado, New Mexico, and Prairie View.
Prairie View, yeah.
Fuck this team. Jesus.
Yo, Jimbo's doing it. He's fucking doing it. He's got that trophy ready to go, dude.
Bobby Bowden's going to come back and kick him in the nuts from the grave.
Fucking hope so. Let's just get to the next team. Georgia, win total set at 10.5. The team most likely to win the East.
Yes, sir. For me, they're a team most likely to do a lot of things. Love JT Daniels. Love the running back stable that this team has. 3 of 5 O linemen, but there's a lot more experience than that. Yeah, the running backs core, it's like 4 deep of like NFL talent. JT Daniels has an embarrassment of riches, man.
Let's jump into the schedule. Clemson, neutral site in Charlotte to start the season.
Yeah, remember last year in the playoffs when OSU just absolutely manhandled Clemson at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball? I think Clemson probably recognized that and did a lot to fix that in the offseason. But with all the new pieces coming back for Clemson and that lingering in the back of your mind that you got just pushed around all game, Georgia can do that to you as well. And JT Daniels, with the experience, I am very high on Georgia beating this Clemson team.
I am as well. I got Georgia with the win here to start the season off. UAB and South Carolina both at home after that.
The UAB game could be kind of tricky after that Clemson win, but I will give them the win on both of these games.
Yeah, I'll give them the win on both of them as well. Then at Vanderbilt, win.
Yep.
Arkansas at home. I'd love it if Arkansas could get it done, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's a win for Georgia.
At Auburn, this could be one of the weird Auburn games, but I feel like that weird magic might have gone out the window with Gus Malzahn.
I mean, honestly, looking at this schedule, this is other than the Clemson game, this is probably the spot.
This is their second toughest game.
Yep. So I got the win, but yeah, that's a tricky spot right there.
Maybe Florida at the neutral site, but I got the win too. Kentucky at home before the bye week.
Yeah, it's a win.
And then Florida at the world's largest outdoor cocktail party after the bye week. But they both get bye weeks going into it.
Yes, exactly. They're pretty much all the SEC teams really do that before their rivalries. They're really
It's the only one I kind of respect because like it's a when you're doing like the neutral site rivalry, I'm kind of okay when you do the bye week leading into it, as long as both teams do it.
You know, I'm actually pretty okay with LSU and Alabama doing it too. I like seeing both of those two teams at their full.
If you do like a true bye week, I'm kind of okay with that for most rivalries. It's like when you get like a fucking
Southeast Missouri State or something.
Yeah, against like your second tier rivalries. Yeah,
that's bullshit. Yeah, that's where it's bullshit. I think Georgia's head and shoulders above Florida. I got the win.
I got the win there too. Then Missouri at home. This could be a slip up as well, but I would really have preferred that to be at Missouri.
Yeah, and it's on the second leg of a back-to-back road trip for Missouri. I got Georgia.
I got them winning that one. At Tennessee, easy win. Charleston Southern, easy win.
Yeah,
Georgia Tech, easy win.
You really need that Charleston Southern before you play Georgia Tech, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Holy shit. I got Georgia at 12-0.
I got them at 12-0 too, man. They're one of my preseason favorites. So, yeah, they're my preseason number 1. I'll just tell you that right now. Love this.
They're actually my preseason number 2.
Okay.
Oklahoma and Georgia are going to recreate the magic that was that Rose Bowl in the national championship game. I can only fucking hope. That game was one of my favorite postseason games of all time.
I'm not rooting for Oklahoma this year, so I'm not hoping for it, but I will tell you that they are also my preseason 1 and 2.
I mean, I have the ticket already, so I just feel like I have to kind of root for them in that regard, but also fuck them forever. I'd much rather Iowa State win the Big 12.
Yes, same here.
Last, but certainly not least, it's the Crimson Tide, Alabama, win total set at 11 and a half. That's fucking crazy. That's insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I look at every 11 and a half in college football, and you got to be the real deal, man. I got to look at and it has happened before where I look at your roster and I look at everything you bring back, and I'm like, yeah, I see it. It lines up with the schedule. This team's fucking great. Their schedule is average to below average, whatever. This isn't a team where I do that, man. That 11 and a half looks pretty enticing to me. We can dive right into it.
It definitely does. They start with Miami, and I see some people pegging this Miami team to get it like close or done week 1, and I'm just not on board.
Well, I mean, do we know about Derek King yet?
I mean, even if he starts, I don't see it happening. Alabama like usually crushes these openers.
I mean, I agree 100%, and it's not neutral site. It's in Atlanta. That's going to be SEC territory, so that's not anything. I agree 100%. However, I mean, like you said, the only thing that could be an Alabama team's kryptonite sometimes is a transcendent quarterback talent. And Derek King, if he's focused on football and he's on the field, he is just that. I'm going Bama. I'm laying the points. I just am curious if that dude's going to play or not.
My only issue with that is I don't know if Miami has other weapons. Like, do they have any? Like, what's their skill position stuff look like? Like, all I know about is Derek King.
Oh, Miami?
Yeah.
I would have to pull it out to even look at it. But they really took a huge step up in offense last year. I do know that.
They did. I mean, Derek King is like that. That's the one thing they were missing is they had some really bad quarterback play, but I just don't.
But I mean, you could kind of say the same thing with Alabama with only 3 starters back on offense. We're saying it's Alabama. We know they're going to be good, but you lost a quarterback and a running back to the first round of the NFL draft and 2 wide receivers in the top 10. That's a lot of talent to lose. And only 5 back in the O-line. I mean, it's pretty wild. I mean, I got Bama. Wild. I got Bama in the points. I'll tell you that much.
I'm going to give Bama and the points as well. After that, Mercer at home.
Yeah, hell of a game there. That's a win.
At Florida. This is the one. This is the one that they could trip up. It's at the Swamp. You never know.
Yeah, and I don't feel like Bryce Young's going to really be tested yet to this point. Like we said, I think they're going to blow Florida or Miami out. So this is going to be his first test, his first road game. It's a hell of a road game for your first one. But, yeah, I got Alabama winning it.
I got Alabama winning that one as well. Southern Miss after that one.
Yeah, they have beat Alabama before in their history not too long ago, but it's not happening here.
It is not happening. Ole Miss after that. Give me the Rebels to get it done in Tuscaloosa, but I really would have loved them to get the game right after Florida.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Ole Miss gets the bye before they play Alabama, and this is right before that back-to-back road stretch starting off at College Station. So next to getting them at home, that's the best scenario you can have,
This is true. This is true. And speaking of that back-to-back road slate, it's at Texas A&M and at Mississippi State. Both Mississippi schools actually get Alabama in pretty decent spots.
They do, and Mississippi State catches them at that bye. So I'm not biting what the public's going to bite on the College Station game. Nick Saban always fucks up A&M ever since Johnny Manziel. I'm not touching that. I'm taking Bama laying the chalk, but I like that bye week before you play Mike Leach. I know they beat him 41-0 last year. I just think Mike Leach, this is his wet dream, is to beat Nick Saban. Honest to God, I think that's why Mike Leach came to the SEC in the first place. Why else would you choose to leave another Power 5 team and come to a conference where Nick Saban is in it, in your division?
Shitloads of money.
I don't see Leach as that kind of guy, man.
I don't know, man. That's so much. The SEC has so much fucking money.
It's true.
I got him winning against Mississippi State, but I would love to see Leach take him down. After that, it's Tennessee at home going into the bye week.
Yeah, I got him winning that.
I'm winning that one. LSU at home after that. They're going to dick stomp LSU.
Yep, Dick's all in the dirt. That's a win for Bama.
New Mexico State.
Tricky game.
Oh,
No.
God, this is such a fucking good spot for New Mexico State to get them. I just don't know. Alabama by like 1,000.
Yeah.
Arkansas at home and then at Auburn for the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, the sacrificial lamb of Arkansas, second leg of a back-to-back road trip there for them following their LSU trip. That's a win for Bama there and a win in the Iron Bowl against
You never like maybe some crazy shit can happen in the Iron Bowl, but I have Alabama at 11-1. I don't know where, but I see them dropping at least one game.
Yeah, man. It's honestly it's my favorite. I know it sounds stupid. It's my favorite win total in this entire conference. Nick Saban's never went undefeated in 2 straight seasons in the regular season. I just don't see it happening here. I think it's actually one of Bama's tougher schedules and one of his teams that, if you could call it a rebuild, it's a rebuild year on an Alabama level, but it's still one. I mean,
because they only need to drop one of Florida, Ole Miss, A&M, Mississippi State, LSU maybe, and then Auburn. They just need to drop one and you win.
That's the kicker. I mean, they don't draw Georgia, but having the Florida and the Auburn games both on the road, that makes 2 like sure wins a little bit of a question mark. You get A&M and Mississippi State in a tricky spot. You get Ole Miss in a tricky spot. Like those games are all like there's just too much opportunity for a loss. And here's the thing for me, Paul Golding, ever since taking over as DC, these Alabama defenses have been pretty average. They were only the 32nd total defense in the country last year. I know they still have NFL talent out the ass. I know that, but I don't think an average Alabama defense can make up for what they lost on offense through the first 7 weeks of the season. I think they just don't have the time to grow to compensate for the defense not being stellar.
I'm right there with you. I think I just see them dropping. I don't know where, I don't know when, but it's gonna happen.
I agree, man. I'm
playing the history.
On board.
Just playing the history. That's what we're doing. So I think we're both on Alabama under 11.5 as our favorites.
Yeah, that's mine.
That's mine too. And then you know what? Fuck it. I'll put some on both Missouri and Kentucky to win the East as my long shots.
Yeah, and if I were to do 2 other things, it would probably be the Florida Gators under 9 and Missouri over 7.
Yeah, I'm on both of those as well. And if you want to be really stupid, because I still think even losing one, Alabama wins the West. If you want to be super stupid, I guess fucking go like Texas A&M to win the West. But at that point, it's not fun. Go Ole Miss. Fuck it. If you're going to throw money away, just do that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think if you're going to attack the conference, like there's the Georgia route to do it, but they're only plus 200 to win the conference.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Like plus 200 because you're probably going to get a little worse odds if they make it to the conference championship game. You'll probably get like plus 130 or plus 140, so you could kind of hedge a little bit if you have Georgia, if you do it now, because their schedule lines up so perfectly.
Yes.
I wonder what Georgia's odds are to make the playoff and if they're better or worse than plus 200.
I would assume they'd be better because I would think everybody would be thinking that Alabama's going to beat them in the SEC championship game. However, we all know a 1-loss Georgia team that loses to Alabama is still going to make the playoff.
But if they lose in the SEC championship game, that's always a weird conversation. We'll have plenty of time during the season to talk about that bullshit and the playoffs and everything. That'll wrap it up for the Jimnasium Tailgate SEC show. Let the people know where they can find you, my man.
Yes, sir. You can find me, as always, on Twitter at 32CourtVision. Always chat me up about anything college football related. I'm down. I could talk some other sports too, but hey, college football, that's where we're at. It's almost here. And catch me on betterthan.vegas, BTV bets at BTV bets. Always go there. Check out my college football Fast Fives. Check out everything that BTV does. They are a phenomenal site. Hop on, make a profile, post videos. It's all free, baby. It's the best way to put your content out there.
It's all free, and if you win the showdown, you basically win free money from making picks. So you win money by winning money. It's awesome. It's fucking great.
And the prop bets, too.
And the prop bets. Don't fucking forget about the public prop bets. BTV is also where you can find me. I'm posting podcast there all the time. I'm posting my CFL Jim plays. That guy he needs a good week. I'm going to say that right now. He needs a good week in the CFL.
Dude,
And
I saw him taking that Twitter hate today. How about that?
Dude, fucking asshole on Twitter calling CFL Jim a cosplaying dork or something like that.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Fucking loser. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at XFL Jim. On Instagram at XFL Jim. YouTube XFL Jim. Just got done training like a horse. That video is up on my YouTube right now. And you can find us in the Jimnasium and the Jimnasium Tailgate everywhere where you can find podcasts. Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, TuneIn, literally everywhere. Spotify for fucking sure. Give it a like, give it a rating, give it a fucking follow. We love you guys. Peace the fuck out. And as always, fuck Texas.